Sagittarius! I'm Desi. This is my channel Starchaeology Tarot, and you are here. Welcome. So happy to see you here, to get to connect here with you in this digital community. If you've been a part of this community for a little bit of time now, I just want to say, hey, thanks, and I love you. It means so much that you are liking, subscribing, sharing. Yeah, makes me want to cry my eyes out. So, thanks. This is your February tarot reading for the month of February. In case that wasn't clear, 2021. We're not looking at 2022, guys. We're looking at the month that it is right about to be now, or it is now, depending on when you're seeing this. Do you have a desire bubbling up in your heart? Do you have an intention you'd like to set? Do you have a question that you are longing to ask? Whatever is coming up for you right now is what this reading can be about for you. So take what resonates with you, and if something doesn't, that little nugget is meant for someone else, which is so cool, I think. On that note, let's go. Sagittarius, oh boy. What grief are you holding on to? What grief are you afraid to let go of? What grief are you afraid to move through? What sorrow are you using? What pain are you using to define you right now? We have the Five of Cups centering kind of at the heart of this reading, meaning there is something that you are mourning. This can be something that you've been mourning for a while. Could be something that a recent loss that you are mourning. But what's very clear to me is the only way out of this is taking action for the sake of action, because the grief that you are experiencing right now, the sorrow, the loss, it is so consuming, maybe even to a degree that some of you don't really even, you're not even fully aware of, but it's consuming to the point that you can't see 2 feet ahead of you. You can't see, you don't have that long vision available to you right now, accessible to you right now, because your sorrow and your pain is limiting your vision. And the Knight of Wands is all about action just for the sake of action. It's movement for the sake of movement. There's a part of you that might be thinking, well, I can't take any movement because of this. I can't take any action. I can't make any movement because I can't even think straight enough to figure out where I want that movement to lead me. Spirit right now is saying it doesn't matter where that movement is leading you. Just move. Get in touch again with the fire that fuels you, the fire that compels you, something that heats you up enough to want to move, and see where that leads you. The grounding of that movement will come later. It's almost like you need to move in order to find where you stand, because right now you're not standing at all. Yeah, that's really what I'm hearing. You need to move in order to find where you even stand. In order to see where you stand. It's like where you are standing right now, there's fog. You don't even know what's underneath your feet right now. You don't know what's supporting you. You don't know what's grounding you. So of course you can't figure out, you can't think your way through, plan your way through this next journey for you, through this next process. movement for the sake of movement changes your perspective, and a change of perspective is necessary for understanding not only where you're going, but where you are. And I say that some of you are consumed by this grief because we have the Emperor here. Who is the Emperor in this situation? It is this pain. It is this sorrow. The Emperor is dominating your possibilities right now because of this grief. This grief is your Emperor right now. What you are bowing down to, what you are serving, is your own pain. How are you serving that pain? I think there are multiple ways that we can serve our pain. One of them is a very healthy way in which we listen to the pain, we allow ourselves to feel the pain, and that is how we serve it, because that's how we serve ourselves. That's how we let pain serve us. The other side of that coin is serving pain to the point of doing things just for, almost out of loyalty to the pain. Meaning, building stories around what that pain means and then acting in a way that doesn't help us move through it, but rather keeps us trapped in it. Doing things that make us identify ourselves through that pain, using that pain to define us. And in that case, we end up serving the pain more than we allow the pain to serve us. The Emperor can signify a time of great stability in your life. A time of like rational approach to issues, one that values analysis and measurement over emotion and intuition. If that is what you have felt you've been, it could be that very thing that is keeping you from actually feeling the feelings that need to be felt in this sorrow, in this pain. You might, some of you Sagittarius, some of you Sagittarius might need a mourning period that you're not really allowing yourself to have because it seems impractical to mourn. It seems impractical to focus on loss, or to just, I shouldn't even say focus, just to be with your loss. It's like you think your way through that and you're like, well, that seems impractical. Where is that going to get me? But in that case, allowing yourself to grieve is the brave action that you are taking. That is the movement that you're taking to then allow yourself to grow beyond it. It's amazing how often we avoid emotions because we think, well, I don't know where this emotion is going to take me. Instead of just saying, this emotion needs to be acknowledged regardless, and expect that it will be, where it takes us will be correct, or expect that where it takes us is a gift to us. So you could be bound more, whether it's your grief that is ruling you. Either I think some of you are in this place of being ruled by grief where the Emperor is the grief, the Emperor is the pain, the sorrow. Others of you, you're not even letting yourself touch that pain or sorrow because it seems irrational. It seems you've analyzed it and you're like, that's not worth me going there. It's not worth me doing that heart work, that hard work. Both of these scenarios are scenarios where the Emperor's rule is very stunting. It's very limiting. It's very deafening. It's being too caught up in rules and certain conditions and following things how we think they're supposed to go, almost like blind loyalty to how we think things should go, or how we think we should behave, or how we think we should feel. And we end up hurting ourselves in the end with that blind loyalty. For some of you, this is an actual person. This is a father figure. Some of you, I think, have lost your father. You've lost a father, you've lost a father figure in your life, and that is the sorrow that is keeping you stunted. And all that can get you out of there is lighting a fire under yourself to just move for the sake of avoiding the fire. You know, sometimes fire can be a weapon, fire can be a tool. It can be both in this case. The tool is treating it as something that you need to avoid, so light that fire so you move. I think for others of you, what I'm hearing is that this father figure, or this masculine, like overbearing, domineering authority figure in your life, maybe hasn't resulted in any sort of loss. No, I take that back. It's not a loss of that father figure, but rather that father figure, that authority in your life has caused you great loss. And you're only really coming to understanding, to starting to understand what's been lost in your blind loyalty to this person. What's been lost in your following of their rules. I mean, this could be society too. This is not even necessarily a person. This could literally be society. This could be convention. And you're realizing all that you have sacrificed, maybe unknowingly, but it is great personal loss that has resulted from matching your personal code of conduct to this person's code of conduct. Without question. Matching your personal code of conduct to society's code of conduct. Without question. This kind of structure can help us to a certain extent. But the structure itself also, sometimes we subscribe to structure because we see it as structure, not because it's right. And that could be, Sagittarius, what you are also waking up to right now. Seeing that you have had this blind loyalty to this structure, to this authority, simply because it was the way of your world. It was structure that was there, that you already found yourself in. So it was more work to question it. It was more work to move outside of it than to exist within it. And structure can be really wonderful in a just society, or in a just family, or whatever structure we're talking about here. It can provide stability that then allows you to feel safe enough to transcend. But when the structure itself is corrupt in some way, or when the structure itself is unjust in some way, that's not a safe foundation. And yet we become used to it. We feel safe in it. We conflate it with safety because it's familiar. I think some of you have lost a sound structure in your life that was right and just. And without that influence, you have felt great loss. You are really grieving that force in your life. But instead of responding to that by trying to recreate the structure of whatever was lost, of whoever was lost, your goal in February, your task in February, is to move beyond that without considering structure. Again, it's to move for the sake of moving. Fire does not move methodically. Fire does not spread logically and rationally. It can go from 0 to 100 in a second. It moves so quickly, it's not contained in some perfect, predictable space or shape. It's constantly changing shape. It's constantly moving. It can pick up speed immediately. It's unpredictable. It's spontaneous. And that is, even if this stability was good for you up until this point, it's gone, and it's time to grieve that, because you're ready to move beyond how you've defined stability up until this point, how you've defined structure up until this point. And it's only the spontaneity of unstructured action, of spontaneous movement, of movement for the sake of movement, of this eager spark of inspiration, sprinting without really knowing where you're going, that is needed to pull you out of this grief. It's needed in order to bring you to the blessings that are waiting for you. You know, to the 2 cups that are behind you here. Sagittarius, this is a challenge, no doubt, but it also ends on such a positive note. I feel like if you really are able to tap into this Knight of Wands spirit of thinking like what it is that you want and just going after it for the sake of moving towards it. Moving in a way that is actually aligned with whatever it is you feel calling you. If you want to be done grieving, if you want to be out of pain, if you want to be not suffering anymore, even if what you want is stability and structure, if you're missing that and you want that again, for whatever reason, you cannot recreate that now by rationally, logically planning your way to it. Something about this month, something about February is calling you to move in a way that might seem illogical, that might seem irrational, that might seem spontaneous and maybe even reckless. But that is going to lead you that is going to bring you further along in your quest towards what you actually say it is that you want, what you actually know it is you want deep down. So don't be afraid to abandon that in your past, whether it's your grief or whether it is the thing or person you are grieving. Don't be afraid to leave that behind. You still take with you the blessings from that experience regardless. You don't need pain to attach you to those things. And also, bravery is required here, Sag. That's why we have a knight. That's why you're taking arms and you're getting on your horse, and duty is calling. This is a duty to yourself. And it might, for some of you, if this is a loss of some positive father figure or authority structure in your life, you can also see this as a duty to them. You don't do them any good by living in this 5 of Cups space. You don't do them any good, you don't do yourself any good. So what duty is calling you right now? Who are you going on this quest for? What is at the end of this quest? What is at the end of this adventure? bravery, courage, perseverance is no doubt required. And sometimes part of that means getting on the horse and going without necessarily being able to determine where the next stop is. The path is unfolding for you as you move along the path. So if you're not moving, there's no chance you'll see what the next steps are. Sag, I'm rooting for you in February. I would love to hear what this looks like specifically for you. Feel free to comment below. It is a joy and an honor and a privilege to get to connect with you here in this way. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Please share this channel with whoever you think needs a little extra support right now, or insight, or is going through an introspective, expansive period of growth in their life. That is what tarot is here for. I love you and happy Feb, and I'll see you next time.